Well, Bill Smith is the name I've gone by for all the years I've been here. And I was superintendent of schools for 10 years, and I was principal at the high school for 3. Jim and John Laurent came over to my office and talked with me about it. We discussed it very thoroughly, and in the end decided to give approval to it. And Jim went ahead and contacted them about coming. I did get a few telephone calls from some of the older people and a couple of ministerial persons who felt it was inappropriate, and I'm sure that they were thinking that they had seen their performances either on television or at one of the sites where they put them on and thought that they were just a little outlandish for high school age and younger youngsters. I think they did change their presentation a little to make it maybe a little less of a problem for the age group that they were making the presentation to. Over the years, heard many of the students that were students at the time tell me that was one of the highlights of their years in school when this group put on their presentation. I enjoyed it, not so much because of their music or the presentation. It's my enjoyment came from watching and hearing the high school age and middle school age kids talk about it and clap and yell and scream and what have you. You know, that to me was the enjoyable part of the whole thing. I got one tape that I picked up after not too long ago, in fact, and I play it occasionally in my car with some other CDs that I have, but it wasn't a kind of music that I knew very well. I'm from the old school, I guess. There was a luncheon at which time the people that they brought with them to do their makeup and everything did the job on us. Well, it was a new experience for a man of my age to get all of that put on your face, and as my wife said, you certainly picked a loud enough jacket to fit right in with your face when you had this picture taken. The mayor and his wife are right there in the front, and John Laurent, who was principal at the high school, and right behind me I think was Dave Brines, who was the football coach at the time. Jim Neff, I think, is over here on the left side of, as you're looking at the picture. Meeting these young men, I find no fault with their attitude, their behavior, the manner in which they presented themselves to us at the luncheon and so forth. Well spoken. So all in all, I thought it was a great program.
When KISS came to Cadillac, Cadillac was in the midst of what was called split sessions. For people who don't remember that saga in Cadillac Schools history, that was a time when Cadillac Schools had more students than classrooms. And so it was a split session arrangement. The juniors and seniors came to Cadillac High School and went to school from 7 in the morning until noon. There was a half-hour break from 12 to 12:30, and then the sophomores and freshmen used those same classrooms and went to school from 12:30 to 5:30. What resulted because of split sessions was that the student body was fragmented. They never got to meet. You couldn't have student council 9 through 12 because they were on opposite schedules. There was no lunch period where the students mingled, so you had the two halves of the school operating on totally different schedules with totally different things going on. It was very, very difficult to bring that school together and mesh them together. Well, what happened with the KISS event was homecoming brought the entire school together. Everyone went to all the homecoming events, and of course the whole school participated in the concert. High school principal John Laurent, his famous quote is said that he tried for years to get the Cadillac student body somehow to come together, to mesh together. And through all his efforts, that split sessions was really tough. But in KISS, in one day, accomplished what the principal and a lot of the teachers had been trying to do for years, and that get the whole student body together. Every segment, athletes, non-athletes, didn't matter. Everyone came together for one big event, and that was the KISS concert.
I'm Carol Lee. I was a junior varsity cheerleader. For a group like that to come to Cadillac was just unheard of. And my parents didn't seem to have any problem with it, although Mr. Smith said he got a lot of flack from parents allowing them to come to our school. I'm sure there was negative feelings out there. I mean, this is a rock band, crazy long-haired, guys and in makeup, and this pretty conservative town to have something like that come. And they probably wondered what they would do, Are they going to burn down a motel, or what are they going to do, So I'm sure there was some reservations there. Being a cheerleader, I got to get a little bit closer to them than most of the kids did. And they were nice people. I mean, they were doing their job as well as us kids doing, what we thought we were supposed to do. It was just cool to have a rock band come to our community like that, and to be a part of it was fun too. The mayor's got his face painted, and superintendent, and to see the adults get interactive with it too was kind of neat, because you don't think adults are cool. So that was neat to see someone participate like that. Being close to them, just being up close to them it just felt, wow, like this is neat. I've never been able to be close to somebody in a rock band. And most of the, pictures and stuff that were taken involved the cheerleaders or the football team, and it was mostly posed and that kind of thing. So it wasn't anything like we got to have lunch with them or anything like that. Being that no other school had that opportunity, I guess we felt like we were probably better than the rest. The attitude goes with the age group, and your school didn't do it, ours did. So I think we felt like we were a little bit above everybody at that time. They were so appropriate. They I never saw anything that was inappropriate out of those guys. I mean, him and his long tongue and some of the gestures he would make was never, I don't think, directed at anybody. It's just who he was and his getup. To have a helicopter land on the football field and watch him, it was sad to see him go, but you knew it had to happen. And we all just gathered and watched them and waved goodbye, and they waved to us.
A few years ago, when they were on one of their first reunion tour, a man in town that all of us know and love, Doug Brown, former banker. Doug took his family down to Grand Rapids, and he was sitting close enough to the stage, and he had a piece of paper, and it just said Cadillac. And he said he held up the sign that said Cadillac, and Gene Simmons walked over to the corner of the stage, and he said to the audience, "Cadillac, Michigan, that's why we're here." And that's an acknowledgement that, the millions of dollars that they got in free publicity from the Cadillac visit, the fact that the story has gone on for 35 years, all that plays into the fact that there's a special place in their hearts for not only Michigan, but for Northern Michigan and for Cadillac, Michigan, because they realize that without us and without that core of fans, they would not have achieved the success that they have today. They've sold 90 million albums worldwide. That's a lot of albums. And I think they feel that the genesis of that was Detroit and Michigan.